Hello, everyone, and a warm welcome to English in Fluency. This is your special place to learn, grow, and truly make your English better in a simple and fun way. I'm your host, Alex, and I'm so happy to have you here with me today. Whether you're relaxing at home, taking a nice walk, or just enjoying a quiet moment, thank you for joining me on this exciting journey to better English. Today, we're going to talk about something truly amazing, something powerful that can change your life and help you become not just a better English speaker, but also a sharper thinker and a more confident person. Yes, we are talking about the incredible power of reading. Now, I know that when I say reading, some of you might think, "Oh, reading? But it feels so hard. I never know what to pick. And honestly, I just don't have the time." If that sounds like you, please don't worry. You're not alone. Many English learners feel this way. But today, right here, right now, I, Alex, will show you why reading isn't just super important for learning a language, but also why it can be fun, easy, and a truly strong tool in your English learning plan. Think of reading like a magic key. This key can open many doors. Doors to awesome knowledge, doors to new ideas, and most importantly for us, doors to better, more natural, and much smoother English skills. Do you wish you could speak English more easily and clearly? Do you want to understand spoken and written English without always trying to translate it in your head? Do you want to feel more sure and relaxed when you talk to English speakers? If you said yes to any of those, then reading is your best friend and helper on this journey. I know that learning a new language can sometimes feel really tough, like climbing a huge mountain. Maybe you listen to native English speakers, and their words just go by too fast. Or maybe you open an English book and see big new words that make you feel lost. Maybe you often feel a bit nervous when you try to speak English, worried about making a mistake. But guess what? Reading can help you with all these things. In this special podcast episode, I, Alex, will explain exactly why reading is so vital, especially for English learners like you. Then, I'll give you simple but very helpful tips to make reading an easy, fun, and truly rewarding part of your daily life. So, if you want to get better at English faster, smarter, and in a more enjoyable way, then please stay with me until the very end. But before we start, I want to ask you one quick question. Do you read in English right now? If you do, that's fantastic. Keep it up and get ready to find even more ways to make it better. If you don't, please don't worry. I promise you, by the end of this episode, you'll be excited to start your reading adventure. So, grab your headphones, find a comfy spot, relax, and let's begin this learning journey together. Stay with me until the very end, because I have some really great tips that will make you love reading and help you improve your English faster than you ever thought possible. Let's start. What exactly is reading? At its core, reading is about understanding written words. It's much more than just looking at letters. It involves several quick and smooth mental steps. First, seeing words and knowing what they mean. Second, understanding these meanings in full sentences and paragraphs. And third, grasping the main ideas and stories that the words want to tell us. We can read silently, taking in information quietly, or we can read aloud, which uses our voice and ears, helping us understand even better. No matter how we do it, reading is a very important skill for gaining knowledge, communicating well with others, and making our thinking skills stronger. When we read, Our brain does something amazing. It figures out abstract symbols, the letters and words, and quickly connects them to real meanings, ideas, and experiences we remember. This clever process helps us learn a lot of information, think carefully about ideas, feel what characters feel, and truly understand the world around us. In short, reading is a basic skill that plays a huge part in lifelong learning, personal growth, and all kinds of human interaction. Let's look deeper into how reading affects our brain. Reading has a big and important effect on the brain, like a powerful exercise for our thinking parts. It makes different parts of the brain work together, especially those for understanding language, seeing words, and getting the main idea. Scientific studies have often shown that reading regularly makes brain connections stronger. These connections are like pathways that our brain cells use to talk to each other. Reading also helps the brain change and build new connections throughout life. This makes the brain more flexible, stronger, and better at learning new things, like a new language. Also, reading a lot has been clearly linked to better thinking skills, problem solving, and even understanding emotions. One of the most amazing effects of reading on the brain is that it can lower stress and make you feel better mentally. Getting lost in a good book, whether it's a story or facts, can be a great escape. It helps the mind relax and forget daily worries. This mental break can make you feel refreshed again. Also, reading stories has been shown to really improve empathy, because it lets readers imagine being different people, feeling different emotions, and seeing different life situations. This experience helps us understand people better and feel more kindness. All in all, reading is not just a fun thing to do. It is a strong exercise for the brain, keeping it active, healthy, sharp, and working well throughout our lives. Now, let's talk about how reading directly affects how well we speak English. Reading plays a very important role in helping us speak English well and with confidence. It gives learners a steady and rich way to see correct sentence structures, proper grammar, and many new words. These are all very important for talking clearly and naturally. When people read English texts often, like books, articles, or news, they get very used to common phrases, everyday expressions, and different ways of writing, from formal academic writing to casual conversations. This regular time with the language helps learners to remember language patterns, meaning these structures and phrases naturally stick in their memory. This greatly improves their ability to put sentences together smoothly and easily when they speak. Also, reading greatly improves both how we say words and how smoothly we speak. When learners choose to read aloud, they actively practice saying words clearly, changing their voice up and down, and finding the natural beat of spoken English. All these things are very important for clear, natural, and interesting spoken English. This practice helps them feel much more confident when they speak, slowly reducing pauses and hesitation. Listening to audiobooks while reading along with the text can also be very helpful. It lets learners hear the right way to say words, notice natural word stress, and copy how native speakers talk, making their spoken English even better. The strong link between reading and speaking in English is clear. Reading and speaking are not separate skills. They are closely connected in language learning, each skill helping the other. Reading gives the basic foundation for speaking well by always adding new words, making grammar knowledge stronger, and getting learners used to many ways of talking. The more a person reads, the more words and phrases they know. This makes it much easier to say complex thoughts and detailed ideas clearly and quickly in conversation. Reading also greatly improves understanding skills, which are very important for real and smooth conversations. When people understand different sentence structures, hidden meanings, and situations through a lot of reading, they can respond more correctly and clearly in conversations, avoiding misunderstandings. Another very important link between reading and speaking is that it powerfully teaches the brain to think in English. Many language learners struggle with the difficult step of translating their thoughts from their first language into English before speaking. This often slows down their speech and can make conversations feel broken. Reading a lot in English strongly helps the brain to process information and make thoughts directly in English. This greatly lowers the need for that mental translation step and makes speaking smoother and more natural. Also, by reading different kinds of texts, like lively conversations, interesting stories, helpful news articles, and challenging academic papers, learners see many forms of spoken English. This wide exposure helps them understand the small differences between formal and informal speech, common slang words, and important cultural details, making their spoken English much more flexible and useful in many real-life situations. In short, reading is not just a quiet activity. It is a very powerful, active tool that strongly affects how the brain works, greatly improves thinking skills, and truly changes how well you speak English. By reading regularly, learners can quickly learn many new words, greatly improve how they say words, and understand things much better. All these things together help them speak confidently, smoothly, and clearly. The link between reading and speaking in English is very strong, as reading gives the important language base and rich input that helps learners express themselves better and more freely. To truly improve English speaking skills, learners should thoughtfully add reading to their daily life, choosing different materials that truly challenge, interest, and excite them. In the end, the more you read, the smoother, better, and more confident you will become in spoken English. Let's now look at the many great things reading does for us. Reading is truly one of the most powerful and life-changing skills a person can learn. It's not just about understanding words, it's about opening your mind, learning new things, getting new ideas, and finding endless ways to grow as a person. When you read a good book, an interesting article, or even a short story, you are giving your brain a great workout. This workout greatly improves how you think, makes your memory better, and sharpens your language skills. For English learners, reading is even more important. It is a direct and very helpful way to learn new words naturally, understand complex grammar easily, and become a more confident speaker. But the amazing uses of reading go far beyond just learning a language. It offers many other great benefits that can positively affect almost every part of your life. Reading is one of the most direct and strong ways to master a language. When you read in English, you are not just seeing words, you are seeing how words are used well in sentences, how complex grammar rules work in real life, and how big ideas are beautifully connected and shown. Unlike the often boring task of remembering grammar rules or word lists, reading helps you learn and remember the language in a natural and easy way. The more you read, the better you get at understanding and easily using different sentence structures, verb tenses, and common sayings, often without having to consciously think about the rules. Also, reading is an unmatched tool for learning new words. Every time you read something new, you will find fresh words and interesting phrases. Very importantly, instead of learning words alone from a list, you see them used in rich, meaningful ways. This makes it much easier to remember what they mean, understand their small differences, and learn how to use them correctly. Over time, this constant exposure to words will greatly improve how you speak and write. You will know many more words to express your thoughts clearly. Books, articles, and all kinds of written materials hold a whole world of knowledge waiting for you to find. Whether you are deep into a story, looking at an insightful article, understanding science concepts, or seeking wisdom in self-help books, you are always gaining new information and ideas. Reading helps you see different cultures, ancient traditions, and many ways of thinking that might be very different from your own. It lets you get new perspectives, see the world in different ways, and understand people much better. For example, if you read a story set in a faraway country, you learn about its people, their daily lives, their special customs, and their way of living. If you read a book about science, you find out how the world works. Reading stories about famous people gives you valuable lessons from their lives, letting you learn from their wins and struggles. Every book, every article, every written piece you read gives you something valuable, even if it's just a simple life lesson, a new way to look at a problem, or an idea that makes you excited. In today's fast digital world, our ability to focus is always being attacked. It's getting harder to pay attention for long periods. We get many messages, notifications, news updates, and social media posts every day. This constant interruption often makes it hard to focus for long. Reading, though, is a great way to actively train your brain to focus better. When you read, you have to pay close attention to the words, follow the story or idea, and remember people, places, and important facts. This focused attention directly helps improve your ability to concentrate, which is very useful for studying, working, and even talking in daily life. Also, reading regularly makes your memory better. Every time you read, your brain is actively working to remember people, plot points, places, ideas, and important details. Your brain actively connects this new information with what you already know and carefully stores it for later use. Over time, this regular brain exercise makes your memory stronger, making it easier to recall information and facts quickly in many situations. Life, with its endless demands, can often be very stressful. Work, studies, and personal responsibilities can sometimes feel overwhelming, leading to worry and tiredness. However, reading offers a powerful way to escape and greatly lower stress levels. When you get lost in a good book, your mind gets completely caught up in the story, focusing on it and its characters instead of your daily worries. This immersive experience gives a much-needed break for your mind, helping your brain relax and forget daily pressures. This mental break can make you feel refreshed again. Beyond just lowering stress, reading also greatly helps your overall mental well-being. It can be a very comforting escape, taking you to new imaginary places, introducing you to amazing new people, and letting you experience many emotions in a safe way. Whether you love thrilling adventures, touching love stories, or deep philosophical texts, reading helps you explore different aspects of being human, and in so doing, to understand yourself and the world better. Have you ever found yourself completely lost in a book, clearly imagining how the characters look, the small details of their settings, or the exciting events happening right in front of you? That, my friends, is the limitless power of reading at work. Books specifically make your mind work, making you see and create detailed pictures and scenes in your head. This greatly develops your imagination and creativity. When you read, you are not just quietly taking in words, you are actively building a whole new world with its own rules, characters, and places inside your own mind. This vital skill, the ability to imagine, conceive, and create, is very important in many areas of life, from solving problems and planning to storytelling and artistic expression. Creative thinking is a very valuable skill in school, jobs, and personal projects, and reading gives a constant, rich source of ideas and training to make this important thinking ability stronger. Clear and good communication is a very important skill in every part of life. Whether you are having a casual talk with friends, giving an important speech at work, or writing a formal email, being able to say what you mean clearly is most important. Reading greatly improves your communication skills by showing you many ways writers express ideas, make arguments, and convey subtle differences in meaning. As you read, you carefully notice how good writers organize their thoughts, use precise words, and make their sentences and paragraphs strong and clear. This observation helps you internalize effective communication patterns, teaching you how to speak and write more clearly yourself. Also, regular reading makes you better at understanding others, as it sharpens your comprehension skills and helps you perceive hidden meanings and intentions in written and spoken language. The most successful people in many areas have one common habit. They read regularly and a lot. Reading is not just for a short time. It is a powerful way to keep learning and growing all your life. It doesn't matter how old you are, where you're from, or what your life is like now. If you make reading a habit, you will always learn new information, get fresh ideas, and acquire new skills every single day. By making reading a strong, necessary habit, you open the door to endless self-improvement, great personal growth, and ongoing independent learning. The vast knowledge you gain from books and other written materials can help you make smarter choices, solve difficult problems better, and understand the world around you in a deeper way. This commitment to lifelong learning, powered by reading, is a clear sign of truly adaptable, intelligent, and successful individuals. Reading in English is not just about knowing single words, it's about truly understanding their deeper meaning, their context, and what they signify. When you read, your brain is actively working to process information, make connections between ideas, infer meanings, and evaluate arguments. This active engagement directly enhances your reading comprehension, helping you understand complex texts faster, more accurately, and more profoundly. Also, regular reading greatly helps develop critical thinking skills. As you read stories, essays, news articles, or academic papers, you have to analyze the information, form your own informed opinions, identify logical flaws, and sometimes even question the author's assumptions. This ability to think carefully, to examine information with a discerning eye, is very important in daily life, especially in school and work. It also greatly improves your ability to articulate your thoughts clearly and confidently in discussions and presentations. Reading and writing are closely linked. They go hand in hand, each skill helping and making the other stronger. It is a known truth that good writers are almost always good readers, because they constantly learn by observing how skilled writers organize ideas, use correct grammar, employ exact words, and write in a clear and compelling way. When you read, you study how sentences are built, how paragraphs are structured, and how complex ideas are expressed well. This direct observation and learning helps you develop your own writing skills, making it easier and better to write essays, emails, or reports in English. Also, reading powerfully makes you more creative. When you read stories, poems, or even engaging factual books, your imagination becomes very active. You visualize scenes, feel emotions, and understand characters better, all of which directly make you think more creatively. This is very helpful for writing good essays, imaginative stories, and well-organized reports in English. Many respected writers clearly state that extensive reading is the foundational cornerstone of good writing, and this is truly correct. For students, especially those whose academic path involves English, regular reading is very important for doing well in school. Many important English tests, like IELTS, TOEFL, and Cambridge exams, put a strong focus on good reading comprehension skills. The more you read, the better you will perform in reading comprehension tasks, understanding complex texts, identifying main ideas, and answering detailed questions correctly. Reading also plays a key part in making you better at writing well-structured essays and answering exam questions effectively. When you are very familiar with many writing styles and a wide vocabulary, you can express your ideas more clearly and precisely. Also, many university courses, especially at higher levels, require extensive reading of academic papers and textbooks. So, building a strong and regular reading habit early on will give you a big advantage in your studies, making academic material easier to grasp and manage. Reading in English is a truly amazing way to relax and greatly lower stress. When you get lost in a well-written book, you effectively enter a different world, temporarily leaving behind your daily worries. It gives a unique form of mental relaxation, helping you feel calm and peaceful. Many studies have clearly shown that even just a few minutes of reading can greatly lower stress levels and also improve your focus. Unlike the fragmented attention often required for short videos or mindlessly scrolling through social media, reading demands deep, sustained focus. This intentional focus actively trains your brain to pay attention for longer periods, a very valuable skill that directly helps you do better in your studies, your job, and even your daily conversations. Reading, therefore, is much more than just a hobby. It is a powerful tool for continuous learning, great personal growth, and clear success. It helps you greatly improve your language skills, expand your knowledge, use your imagination, and become a clearer and better communicator. It also actively lowers stress, makes you more focused, and basically helps you become a lifelong learner. If you want to improve your English, gain new insights, and open your mind to endless possibilities, then start your reading journey today. Even a small amount, just 10 to 15 minutes a day, can make a huge difference in your English skills and your overall confidence. So, what interesting book or smart article will you choose to read next? Now, let's look at the specific reasons why reading is so very important for English learners. Learning English, as we all know, is an evolving and often challenging journey, and reading stands out as one of the most powerful and helpful tools to make that journey not only easier, but also much more enjoyable and rewarding. Many English learners, eager to communicate, often focus primarily on speaking and listening skills. While these are very important, it's crucial to understand that reading is just as fundamental a skill. It acts like a quiet but strong guide, helping you naturally acquire new vocabulary, easily understand complex grammar, and slowly become a more confident speaker. Reading is not just about literally deciphering words on a page. It is about actively enhancing your cognitive processes, greatly expanding your general knowledge, and fundamentally strengthening your overall communication skills. In this part, I, Alex, will delve deeper into exactly why reading is so very important for English learners, and how it can greatly assist you in accelerating your language proficiency. One of the biggest challenges for English learners, regardless of their level, is constantly expanding their vocabulary. Reading provides an unmatched way to encounter new words in the most natural and effective manner. Instead of the often tedious task of memorizing long lists of isolated words, you encounter new vocabulary naturally used in real, meaningful sentences. This contextual learning makes it much easier to remember their precise meanings, understand their subtle nuances, and, most importantly, learn how to use them correctly in your own speaking and writing. For example, if you read a short story, you will naturally see common words used in different, practical ways, giving you a deeper understanding of their applicability. You might also encounter entirely new words, and because they are embedded in a sentence, you can often infer their meaning from the surrounding words and the overall context. This method is far more effective and memorable than simply rote memorization. The more you read consistently, the larger your active vocabulary will become, directly enhancing your speaking and writing abilities. Many English learners struggle a lot with the complex rules of English grammar. Studying grammar rules can be difficult to grasp in isolation, and applying them correctly while speaking spontaneously can feel almost impossible. However, when you read regularly, you consistently encounter correct and natural grammar in every sentence. This continuous exposure helps you internalize how grammar actually functions in authentic English, in an intuitive, effortless manner, often without requiring lengthy explanations. For example, by reading diverse texts, you will naturally observe how past tense, present perfect, or conditional sentences are employed in real-life situations. Over time, your brain will automatically recognize these patterns, and you will begin to use them correctly and effortlessly in your own speech and writing, without having to consciously recall the rules. This is precisely why reading is considered one of the most effective and organic ways to master English grammar. Even though reading is primarily a solitary activity for many, it can greatly help improve both your pronunciation and your speaking fluency. When you read, you actively see how words are spelled, and often you mentally hear their sounds in your mind. If you take the powerful step of reading aloud, you actively practice articulating words correctly, focusing on individual phonemes, emphasizing the right syllables, and speaking with a better, more natural rhythm. Many English learners struggle with pronunciation because English spelling and pronunciation do not always align. However, consistent reading helps you recognize common spelling-to-sound patterns and pronunciation rules, making it easier to correctly guess the pronunciation of new words. Over time, this consistent practice, especially reading aloud, greatly helps you feel more confident when speaking English and reduces hesitation. Reading and listening, while distinct, are very interconnected skills in language acquisition. When you read, you are actively training your brain to recognize and process English sentence structures, word patterns, and common expressions. This foundational understanding makes it much easier to comprehend spoken English because your brain is already familiar with the language's architecture and the typical ways English is structured. For example, if you read many conversations in books, articles, or stories, you will begin to recognize those same phrases and common sayings when you listen to native speakers. This familiarity helps you understand spoken English faster, with less effort, and greatly enhances your overall comprehension. One of the biggest challenges for English learners striving for fluency is the habit of translating their thoughts from their native language into English before speaking. This mental translation often slows down speech and makes conversations feel unnatural. Reading directly addresses this because, when you read, your brain is actively processing English immediately, without an intermediary translation step. Over time, this consistent direct processing greatly reduces the need to translate, helping you respond faster, more naturally, and speak more smoothly in conversations. For example, if you frequently read novels or factual books in English, you become highly accustomed to encountering English words and sentences, and your brain gradually begins to grasp meaning directly, without needing to translate each word or phrase. This is a very important step towards achieving true fluency in English. Confidence is a very important component of mastering any new language. Many learners feel nervous about making mistakes when speaking or writing in English, which can hinder their willingness to communicate. Reading actively helps you build significant confidence because it constantly exposes you to correct, natural English usage on a daily basis. The more you read, the more comfortable and familiar you become with the language's nuances, structures, and common expressions. For example, if you read an article every day, you will encounter common vocabulary, phrases, and grammatical structures repeatedly. This consistent exposure helps you feel much more at ease and certain when using English, making it much easier to speak and write with growing confidence. Language is much more than just words and grammar rules. It is deeply intertwined with culture. When you read English books, newspapers, or articles, you gain very valuable insights into different cultures, unique traditions, and distinct ways of thinking that shape the language. This cultural exposure helps you truly understand how native speakers use language in real-life contexts, including their humor, their social norms, and their underlying values. For example, reading a novel from an English-speaking country can teach you about its unique customs, social etiquette, humor, and general way of life, providing you with a rich background for the language. This cultural understanding makes communication not just easier, but also more meaningful and empathetic, as you grasp the cultural context behind the words used. If you want to greatly improve your writing, then consistent reading is very important. It is a fundamental truth that good writers are almost always good readers, because they constantly learn by observing how skilled writers organize ideas, use correct grammar, employ precise vocabulary, and articulate their thoughts in a clear and compelling way. When you read, you see how sentences are constructed, how paragraphs are ordered, and how complex ideas are expressed effectively. This direct observation and internalization helps you develop your own writing skills, making it easier and better to compose essays, emails, or reports in English. Learning English does not have to be boring. Reading offers a very fun, engaging, and enjoyable way to greatly improve your skills. Whether you prefer exciting stories, current news, fascinating factual books, or helpful self-improvement guides, there is a vast amount of reading material available for everyone. When you find a book or article that truly interests you, learning English quickly transforms from a task into an exciting adventure. You temporarily forget that you are studying and instead become immersed in the content, genuinely enjoying the process. This enjoyment makes it much easier to stay motivated, remain consistent, and continue learning for the long term. English, as a truly global language, is like a gateway, and reading in English provides you with unlimited access to endless knowledge. Whether you are passionate about history, science, business, personal development, or any other field, much of the world's most valuable information is available in English. By making reading a strong daily habit, you actively commit to continuous learning and personal growth throughout your life. This commitment not only enhances your English proficiency, but also greatly contributes to your intellectual development, sharpening your mind, deepening your empathy, and broadening your perspective. Highly successful individuals across all professions consistently read regularly because they understand that knowledge is power, and reading is the most direct way to acquire that power. Reading is, therefore, one of the very best ways to improve your English skills, expand your vocabulary, solidify your grammar, enhance your pronunciation, build strong confidence, and make the entire learning process immensely enjoyable. It also deeply connects you to diverse cultures, greatly improves your writing skills, and trains your brain to think directly in English. If you want to learn English faster and better, then start reading today. Even a small amount, just 10 to 15 minutes a day, can make a huge difference in your progress. Find a book, article, or story that truly excites you and make reading a necessary daily habit. Happy reading, and may your English journey be full of joy and continuous progress. Finally, let's look at how to make reading a habit. Easy steps for regular reading. Reading is, as we've discussed, one of the best ways to greatly improve your English skills. But establishing reading as a regular habit can sometimes feel tough. Whether you're just starting, know some English, or are really good, building a strong reading habit will not only greatly boost your language skills, but also enrich your life by making you more knowledgeable. The good news is that anyone can successfully integrate reading into their daily life with the right strategies and a positive attitude. In this section, I, Alex, will share some of the most useful and proven tips to easily make reading a joyful, lasting habit in your daily life. One of the main reasons people struggle to read regularly is that they often try to do too much, too fast. Setting a goal like reading an entire book in 1 week can feel overwhelming and lead to burnout. Instead, the best approach is to start small and set goals that you can easily reach. For example, you could aim to read for just 10 to 15 minutes each day. This is an ideal starting point for beginners, and it helps build the habit without stress. As you get used to reading every day, you can slowly increase the duration. Small, achievable goals make the process feel easier and more enjoyable. Each time you accomplish one of these small goals, you'll feel proud, which reinforces your desire to continue. This helps you build a positive feedback loop, making reading a natural, rewarding daily habit. As mentioned before, it is very important to choose reading materials that you truly enjoy. If you don't enjoy what you're reading, it will be very hard to sustain a regular reading habit. Whether you like fiction, nonfiction, comic books, or blogs about your hobbies, selecting content that genuinely interests you will make it feel less like a chore and more like a pleasurable activity. If you're unsure what you like, start by experimenting with different short stories, articles, or books related to your interests. The key is to make reading a source of genuine pleasure, so you look forward to it every day. Building any habit, including reading, requires consistency and routine. One of the best ways to ensure you read every day is to set a specific time for it. Choose a time when you are most likely to be free and focused. This could be in the morning, during your lunch break, or before bed. By consistently reading at a designated time, you will establish a strong routine, and reading will seamlessly become an ingrained part of your day. The more consistent you are, the easier it will be to stick to the habit. If you read at the same time every day, your brain will start to associate that time with reading, and it will soon become automatic. One common reason people don't read regularly is simply that they don't always have a book ready when an opportunity arises. Keeping your reading materials easily accessible can make it much simpler to read more often. You can carry a physical book or an e-reader with you in your bag wherever you go. This way, whenever you have a few free minutes, like waiting for a bus, sitting in a cafe, or during a short break at work, you can easily grab your material and read a few pages. If you use a phone or tablet, download a good e-reading app so you'll always have a book at your fingertips. By making your reading materials readily available, you eliminate excuses and can effortlessly integrate reading into even the busiest days. Joining a reading group or participating in a reading challenge can provide a strong impetus and additional motivation to maintain a regular reading habit. A reading group is an excellent way to connect with like-minded individuals, allowing you to discuss books, share insights, and support each other. Many groups meet regularly, online or in person, to discuss specific titles, making your reading experience more social. Reading challenges are also a very fun way to stay engaged. You can join online reading challenges, such as aiming to read a certain number of books in a year, or create your own personal challenges. These challenges provide clear goals and often incorporate a social element, making the entire process more enjoyable. By being part of a group or challenge, you'll feel more committed to your reading habit. If you're not always in the mood or have the opportunity to sit down and read a physical book, consider using audiobooks as a fantastic alternative or supplement to your reading habit. Audiobooks are an excellent way to consume books and learn English when you're engaged in other activities that don't require your visual attention, such as cooking, cleaning, exercising, or commuting. Listening to audiobooks can also greatly enhance your English listening skills. as you become accustomed to natural speaking speeds and pronunciations. Audiobooks are available in a wide variety of genres and can be easily downloaded to your phone or accessed through streaming apps. Integrating audiobooks with traditional reading can significantly increase your exposure to English, making language learning more flexible. Tracking your reading progress can be a very motivating strategy and a great way to visualize your accomplishments. You can maintain a simple reading journal where you note down the titles of books you've read, the duration of your daily reading sessions, and perhaps some key ideas or new vocabulary you've learned. This record will allow you to clearly see how much progress you're making and will encourage you to keep going. There are also many excellent apps and websites designed to help you track your reading. For example, Goodreads is a popular platform that allows you to set reading goals and record the books you've completed. By tracking your progress, you create a positive feedback loop. Seeing your accomplishments fuels your motivation, which in turn inspires you to read more and firmly establish reading as a consistent part of your daily routine. Establishing a deep reading habit, like mastering any new skill, does not happen overnight. It requires consistent effort and dedication. There will be days when you miss your reading goal, or feel too tired, or simply lack the desire to read. That's perfectly normal. The most important thing is not to be hard on yourself and not to give up. If you miss a day or two, simply start again the next day. Keep persevering, and eventually, reading will effortlessly become a natural and essential part of your life. Remember, it's not about how much you read in one sitting, but how regularly you read over time. Even if it's just a few pages every day, that consistent effort will lead to significant results. Be patient with yourself and trust the gradual process of improvement. Finally, and very importantly, make sure to celebrate your successes, no matter how small they seem. Did you successfully finish a challenging book or an insightful article? Celebrate that. Did you manage to read consistently for a whole week without missing a day? Acknowledge that achievement. Positive reinforcement is a powerful motivator. It will keep you excited and much more likely to continue your reading habit. Reward yourself with something you truly enjoy after reaching a reading goal, perhaps a favorite snack, a relaxing activity, or the exciting prospect of starting a brand new, anticipated book. Each small success will bring you closer to making reading an automatic habit and will greatly enhance your English skills. Building a reading habit takes time and effort, but with the right strategies and a positive attitude, you can definitely make it a fun and important part of your daily life. Start small, read what you enjoy, set specific times for reading, create a comfortable reading space, and track your progress. Don't forget to join a reading group or challenge and consider audiobooks as a flexible learning option to stay motivated. Most importantly, be patient and kind to yourself. Reading is a skill that improves with consistent engagement and practice. Start today, and you'll soon find that reading is not only a very rewarding habit, but also a powerful way to enhance your English skills and understand the world more deeply for many years to come. As we finish this podcast episode, let's take a moment to remember the key points we talked about today. Whether you are just starting your English journey or someone who has been learning for a while, we've covered several important ways that can powerfully help you improve your skills through reading. From truly understanding why reading is an important tool for English learners to getting useful advice on how to make reading a regular habit, we've given you a clear path. Let's end with a few final thoughts and a clear call to action to keep you motivated on your English learning journey. First and most important, we must always remember the great power of reading for language acquisition. Reading is much more than just understanding words. It is about fully immersing yourself in the language, allowing its rhythm and nuances to permeate your mind, and naturally learning how to think and speak in authentic English. The more you read, the more you will acquire new vocabulary, strengthen your grammar, and effortlessly grasp how complex sentences are constructed. Reading opens countless opportunities to explore diverse writing styles and perspectives, all of which will contribute to you becoming a more fluent and confident English speaker. Each page you read brings you one step closer to true English mastery. If you take away just one main idea from today's podcast, let it be the very important concept of making reading a consistent habit. Reading regularly can significantly accelerate your progress in English. It's not about reading a vast quantity every day. It's about reading consistently, making it a natural part of your daily routine. Like any valuable skill, language learning requires regular practice. With consistent reading, you're constantly reinforcing your linguistic knowledge, and over time, you'll observe tangible improvement. The more you read, the more intuitive it will feel, and it will no longer be a tedious task but something you look forward to. So, start small, read regularly, and gradually build this habit. Now that you understand how important reading is for improving your English, it's time to take action. Don't wait for the perfect moment to begin. The best time to start is right now. You don't need to wait until you have ample free time or until you feel completely fluent. Start today, even if it's just for a few brief minutes. Choose a very short article, a simple blog post, or an easy book that truly interests you, and simply begin reading. Remember, the goal is to improve, not to be perfect. Don't worry if you don't understand every single word, or if you need to reread the same section multiple times. The most important thing is to keep reading, stay engaged, and remain motivated. Over time, you will notice significant improvement, and you'll feel more and more confident in your ability to comprehend and speak English well. Building a reading habit, like any new, beneficial habit, doesn't happen instantly. It takes time, effort, and sustained commitment. There will be days when you miss your reading goal, or feel too tired, or simply lack the motivation to read. That is perfectly normal. The most important thing is not to give up. If you miss a day or two, simply resume the next day. Keep pushing forward, and eventually, reading will effortlessly become a natural and indispensable part of your life. Remember, language learning is a marathon, not a sprint. It's normal to experience frustration at times, especially with challenging texts. But always remember that language acquisition is a gradual process, and every bit of practice, every minute you dedicate, significantly contributes. Even 10 minutes of reading a day represents valuable progress. Keep going, push through the challenges, and you will definitely see results in time. While consistency is very important, it's also crucial to ensure the process remains enjoyable and stimulating. Don't stick to just one type of material if it ceases to be exciting. Reading does not have to be boring. Mix things up by reading different kinds of content, engaging novels, insightful blogs, news articles, short stories, or even graphic novels. You can also read aloud, which will greatly help improve your pronunciation and speaking fluency. Experiment with different reading formats, physical books, e-books, or audiobooks, to find what works best for you. By keeping things interesting, you'll stay engaged, and reading won't feel like a chore, but rather a rewarding adventure. As you become more proficient in reading, it's important to set achievable goals. Start with simple targets, like reading for 10 minutes each day or completing a chapter by the end of the week. And just as important, make sure to truly celebrate your successes, no matter how small. Did you finish a book or article that challenged you? That's a significant accomplishment. Did you read consistently for a whole week? That's another victory. Celebrating these small successes will keep you motivated and make you more likely to continue your reading habit. Reward yourself with something you enjoy after reaching a reading goal, perhaps a favorite snack or the exciting prospect of starting a new book. Each small success will bring you closer to making reading an automatic habit and will greatly enhance your English skills. I, Alex, encourage you to take action right after listening to this podcast. One of the best ways to stay committed to building your reading habit is by joining a reading challenge. You can set a personal goal for how many pages or books you want to read by the end of the month or year. If you're not sure where to start, try reading one book a month, or reading for 15 minutes every day for the next 30 days. The key thing is to simply begin, track your progress, and keep going. Whether you choose a physical book, an e-book, or an audiobook, every page you read, every minute you dedicate, brings you closer to becoming more fluent in English. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. There are many English learners like you, and joining a supportive community can be incredibly motivating. Whether you join an online book club, an English learning group focused on reading, or simply connect with friends who also want to improve their reading, the encouragement from others can make a significant difference. Share your reading goals with fellow learners, discuss the books you've read, and exchange recommendations for new materials. By being part of a group, you'll not only stay motivated, but might also discover exciting new books or resources you hadn't considered. It's a great way to stay engaged and inspired. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, stay committed to your English learning journey. Every step you take, no matter how small, represents genuine progress. Don't give up simply because things feel difficult at times. Keep pushing forward, and always remember that with each book you finish, each article you read, and each new word you acquire, you are drawing closer to your goal of fluency. This is not just about improving your English. It is about cultivating a lifelong habit, the habit of learning, that will benefit you in countless aspects of your life. As you continue to read, you will understand English better, speak more confidently, and develop a deeper appreciation for the language itself. So, I, Alex, invite you to take that first step today. Start reading, even if it's just for 10 minutes, and stay consistent. Join a reading challenge, track your progress, and celebrate each small win. And most importantly, enjoy the process. Learning a language is an exciting adventure, and reading is one of the most fulfilling ways to enhance your skills. If you found this podcast helpful, Don't forget to subscribe to English in Fluency for more tips and insights into English learning. Leave a comment sharing what you're currently reading or any challenges you're facing. I'd love to hear from you and support you. Thank you for listening. And keep reading. Your future self will thank you.